Livestock production 2 or nutrition. Nutrition in livestock. Apart from breeding, disease and parasite control, proper livestock feeding is another way of livestock improvement on the farm. Livestock nutrition constitutes the provision of adequate, proportionate, and appropriate food substances to animals depending on their daily nutrient requirements. Components of livestock. In this topic, you'll be introduced to the components of livestock feedstuffs. Feedstuffs contain water, carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, vitamin and mineral salts in varying proportions. A balanced ration should provide the following nutrients in adequate and proportionate levels: water, carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, vitamins, and mineral salts. Sources and functions of water in livestock. Livestock obtain water from three major sources, namely free, bound, and metabolic. Water constitutes up to 83% of livestock products and 50% of actual body weight. A water requirement in livestock depends on ambient temperature, size, type of feed taken, and the level of production. Roles of water in animals' body: help maintain body shape, act as a body cellular component, and regulates body temperature as an excretory medium, among other functions. Sources and functions of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are obtained from pastures, grains, root crops, and byproducts of the sugar industry. They occur as sugars, starch, and cellulose. Roles of carbohydrates are to provide energy and for synthesis of livestock products. Sources and functions of proteins. Proteins provide nitrogen, sulfur, and phosphorus over and above carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Usually, proteins are obtained from animal byproducts, leguminous pasture, seed cake, and young green grass. Roles of sources and functions of lipids. Lipids provide 2 to 3 times of the energy provided by carbohydrates to livestock. When stored as subcutaneous fat, lipids provide insulation against cold. Fats line the walls of internal organs to absorb physical shock. Sources of lipids: animal products and byproducts, pasture and other foliage, and byproducts of oil seeds. Sources and roles of mineral salts. Mineral salts are required in small quantities but are an essential component of livestock feed. Sources of livestock feeds. Livestock feeds are largely obtained from plants and to a lesser extent from animal products such as blood meal, fish meal, or bone meal. Feedstuffs of plant origin are usually higher in fiber content but low in proteins except the concentrates. Classification of livestock feeds. Animal feeds are broadly classified basing on their bulkiness and nutrients content. They are either classified as roughages or concentrates. Livestock feeds are classified as roughages or concentrates. Roughages originate from plants and are either classified as dry or succulent roughages. Concentrates are of higher nutritive value than the roughages. They are either classified as energy or protein concentrates depending on the major nutrient component. Characteristics of roughages. Roughages are classified primarily depending on moisture content as succulent roughages or dry roughages. Succulent roughages: high moisture content, low protein content, have high fiber content, high vitamin content, and high carbohydrate content, for example, fresh silage, freshly cut and fed Napier grass. Dry roughages: low moisture content, high dry matter content, low protein content, low vitamin content, and low in feed value, for example, straw, hay, maize stover, dried plants and crop residues. Characteristics of concentrates. Concentrates are classified basing on nutrient content into energy or carbohydrate and protein concentrates. Carbohydrate: supply energy to the animal, obtained as byproducts of flour mills, for example, bran and maize germ. Protein: supply protein to the animal, originate from either plant, for example, oil seed cakes, cotton sunflower, sim, or from animal origin, for example, bone meal and blood meal. Minerals and vitamin supplement. Whereas these two nutrients occurs in roughages and concentrates, commercial feeds manufacturers do add the same to guard against deficiencies. Calcium and phosphorus deficiency leads to milk fever in lactating cows, osteomalacia, rickets, and pica. Feed additives. Feed additives include antibiotics, hormones, and mendicants. Whereas these are non-nutritive, they improve feed conversion efficiency, stimulate growth, as well as prevent and cure diseases. Livestock rations. Farm animals require nutrition on a daily basis for maintenance and production. The quality and quantity depends on body size, age, activity, and level of production. The feeds must be palatable to enhance physical satiety. Preparation of livestock rations. On-farm preparation of livestock feeds will reduce the production costs. Extra care should be taken not to compromise on quality in favor of satiety. There are many methods of preparing livestock rations. Among the most commonly used are trial and error method and Pearson's square method. Computation of livestock rations by trial and error method. Various combinations of feedstuffs are used and resultant animal responses recorded. The combination that gives the highest production guides the farmer in determining the right proportion of various animal feeds when computing the rations. Procedure of computing livestock rations using Pearson's square method. Place the percent feed value of the desired ration at the center of the square. Place names of feeds and their percent values at each of the left corners. Subtract diagonally across the square and record resultant figures at the right corners, ignoring the signs. Add the two figures obtained on the right. Use the figure to calculate the proportionate amount of each feedstuff in the desired ration. Digestibility on livestock feeds. The amount of feeds retained in an animal's body after digestion varies with different feeds. Dry roughages have high indigestible fiber content and hence low indigestibility, while protein concentrates have high digestibility. Digestibility of feeds affected by form in which feed is presented to the animal, chemical composition of the feeds, species and type of the animal, amount of food already present in the alimentary canal of animals, and stage at which the feed was harvested. Digestion and digestive systems in digestibility on livestock feeds. Appropriate livestock handling techniques while feeding. Animals should be handled appropriately when receiving their nutrition. This is to avoid injury, stress, and infection of the animals from contamination. Artificial feeding enhances better management of production in dairy farm animals and reduces cows in calves. Regurgitation of food. Animals chewing cud, referred to as food moving from mouth into rumen and back into mouth before it enters the reticulum. Reticulum sieves and separates fine from coarse food materials. It retains indigestible, ingested foreign materials such as nylon paper. Finely chewed food then moves to the omasum. Omasum grind and sieve food, but its main function is water absorption from food. Abomasums is the fourth stomach compartment, and it is the true stomach. Enzymatic digestion of proteins takes place here. Mechanical digestion also occurs where food is churned by stomach walls forming chyme. Stomach wall produces gastric juice which contains pepsin, breaks down proteins into proteases and peptones. Renin coagulates milk to increase surface area for the action of enzyme pepsin. Hydraulic acid creates suitable acidic medium for the action of stomach enzymes and kills harmful microorganisms in food. The duodenum receives pancreatic juice from pancreas and the bile salts from the liver. The pancreatic juice contains sodium hydrogen carbonate, which neutralizes the acidic condition of chyme from the stomach, as well as provide an alkaline pH ideal for enzymatic activities of pancreatic and intestinal enzymes. Digestion and digestive systems in farm animals. The structure of digestive system of monogastric and polygastric farm animals has different adaptations that enable them digest respective food components. Some monogastric animals have a well-developed cecum which bears microorganisms that produce cellulose enzyme important for cellulose digestion. Polygastric animals have a well-developed rumen which harbors bacteria, carries out microbial digestion. Digestion in ruminants. Ruminant animals have 4 stomach compartments. They regurgitate and chew cud. Digestion starts in the mouth, where mechanical breakdown of food material into smaller particles takes place. Food is mixed with saliva, softened, formed into bolus, and swallowed into the rumen, which is the largest stomach compartment. Role of rumen includes temporary storage of food, microbial digestion of cellulose in food, breakdown of protein to peptides, amino acid and ammonia, and absorption of fatty acids and ammonia gas. Food is regurgitated back into the mouth and chewed further, resulting and reswallowed into the reticulum through oesophageal groove. Digestion in the jejunum. The wall of the jejunum produces intestinal juice which contains enzymes maltase, sucrase, erepsin, and lactase. Maltase converts maltose to glucose. Sucrase converts sucrose to glucose and fructose. Lactase converts lactose to glucose and galactose. Erepsin converts peptones and peptides to amino acids. Digestion in the ileum. This is the last portion of the small intestine and has many finger-like projections called villi. These increase the surface area for absorption of digested food including glucose, amino acids, and fatty acids. Digestion in the large intestines. Materials such as cellulose, which may not have been digested, are broken down through extensive microbial activity in the cecum to release volatile fatty acids, which are absorbed in this region. Water absorption takes place in the large intestines. Indigestible food substances are temporarily stored in the rectum and are voided through the anus. Digestion in non-ruminants, pigs. Pigs are omnivorous and their digestion compares to that of human beings. Food obtained in the mouth undergoes mechanical digestion through chewing. The food is mixed with saliva, which contains salivary amylase that digests starch into maltose. Chewed food is turned into a bolus and swallowed through peristalsis. Digestion of non-ruminants compares to that of ruminants except there is enzymatic digestion of starch in the mouth into maltose, no microbial digestion of cellulose except in those animals that have a well-developed cecum, and most digestion and absorption takes place in small intestines. Digestion in poultry. The digestive system of poultry is slightly different from other non-ruminants. Poultry have no teeth and food is swallowed whole up to the crop, an enlargement of the esophagus. The gizzard breaks down food mechanically to form paste which enters the duodenum. It is adapted to mechanical digestion due to presence of thick and tough muscles that slide against food particles and presence of grit peaked during feeding. Moistened food leaves the crop and proceeds to the true stomach called proventriculus. Although pepsin enzyme is produced here, very little enzymatic digestion takes place as food passes quickly into the gizzard. Digestion in the duodenum, jejunum, ileum, and the cecum compares to that of digestion in ruminants. Poultry usually absorb most of the water in the large intestines. Egestion takes place through the cloaca.